Good kids don't happen by accident. They're shaped by what we expect, what we allow, and what we choose to correct. Welcome to Good Kids Don't Happen by Accident, the podcast about raising accountable kids in a world full of excuses. I'm your host, Coach Steve. Every parent wants a good relationship with their child. We want them to trust us, talk to us, feel comfortable around us. But somewhere along the way, that desire can turn into something else. Instead of leading our kids, we start trying to be liked by them. And on the surface, that doesn't seem like a problem. I mean, who doesn't want a good relationship with their kids? But after more than 30 years of teaching and mentoring kids and families, I've seen this play out over and over again. The parents who are most focused on being their child's friend, they often struggle the most when it comes to behavior, accountability, and respect. Let me tell you a story so you can see what I'm talking about. I once had a student who early in the year, and by early I mean like first week of school, made it very clear he did not see adults as authority. Simple directions became arguments. Transitions became standoffs. If I asked him to start his work, he wanted to know why. If I told him to open his notebook, he wanted to know who was going to make him. And this was an occasional frustration. This became a daily defiance. So I called his parents, set up a meeting, not to punish the kid, but to help him. We talked about structure, consistency, expectations. I believed, like I always did, that if teachers and parents worked together, things would improve. But one afternoon at recess, everything changed. There was a group of kids playing a game called Foursquare, and one of the girls had the bouncy ball, and this kid wanted it. She said, "No, we're playing a game, but you can join in," and was standing right next to her. And there was no confusion about what happened next. This boy stepped forward and asked her again for the ball, and again she said, "No, but you can join our game." And before I could blink, he punched her right in the face. The playground went silent. It was like something out of a movie. So I took him to the office. I made the phone call home. I explained to the parents what happened, told them what the consequences would be. Yes, I expected frustration from the parents. I expected some disappointment. I expected them to be sorry about what their kid did. But man, what I didn't expect was what actually came next. First, they blamed me. They asked what I had done to cause it. Then they said there has to be more to the story. Their son wouldn't do that. Then, 15 minutes later, they showed up at school and demanded to see me and the principal, and it only got worse. At one point, the father stood up and said, "Hey, coach, I'm not raising my son to be a wimp. He knows he can defend himself, and he has my permission to punch anyone he has to." So I tried to explain to this man, there is clearly a difference between self-defense and punching someone in the face who won't give you a ball you want. But the thing that stuck with me the most of the entire meeting was this. Not once did either parent say their son was wrong. They didn't even apologize for him hitting the girl. Instead, they told the principal that he should be removed from my classroom, that I'm a bad teacher, that I had it out for him. In their mind, consequences meant I disliked their child. And in that moment, everything became very clear. This wasn't about behavior anymore. Now it's about authority. Because when a child learns that the adults in his life will defend them no matter what, they stop seeing the other adults as leaders. They see them as allies. And yeah, this might sound like a good thing until you realize what it actually teaches your kids. So, when parents try to be their child's best friend all the time and defend their kids at all costs, they avoid corrections and consequences. And when corrections and consequences disappear from a kid's life, so does respect and responsibility. In the weeks that followed, something shifted with this kid. And no, it wasn't good because he didn't get better. He started walking through my classroom differently, definitely more confident. Not because he had grown and learned how to be a good person, but because he was protected. And I remember this like it happened yesterday, even though it was 20 some years ago. We were in math class, and I walked by him and I asked him to do something, and he looked at me and said, "You and I both know you can't do anything to me. My mom and dad made sure of that." And sadly, I could see it in his eyes. This kid believed it. Once a child believes authority doesn't apply to them, everything changes. Rules become optional, respect becomes conditional, and behavior always gets worse, never better. So what should a parent do instead? Well, for starters, yes, you can have a strong relationship with your child without always trying to be their best friend. You can be warm, loving, kind, and still be firm. You have to hold your children accountable when you need to. Number two, don't avoid the uncomfortable moments. I said this before. When kids make mistakes, those are the moments that teach them accountability and help them build respect. And number three, your job as a parent is not to be liked in every single moment of your kid's life. You have to be a leader to them. So over the long term, they grow up into good, kind human beings. If you take one thing away from today's story, let it be this: a strong relationship with your child. It doesn't come from avoiding conflict. It comes from handling it the right way. Because good kids don't happen by accident. They are built through expectations, accountability, and consistency.